Guys, listen, you're stuck right now in the same position because your habits haven't changed. You see, a lot of us complain that we don't have much going on in our lives. We're not happy with what we have right now. We're feeling lost, confused. We are being uncertain about life in general. And half of these things actually happen because you're doing the same thing each and every day. Your life haven't changed since last year or 2 years ago because your habits haven't changed. How do you expect your life to change and be different when you still do the same thing over and over again? A lot of us are complaining, a lot of us are not happy with ourselves or with our situations. Our circumstances can change, but we need to make the change ourselves, and that need to start with the smallest things you do. You have to really truly take a step back and think to yourself, why is it I'm still in the same position after 2 years? Why is it that I'm still not fulfilled, content within myself? And that is because you are doing exact same thing as you was doing 2-3 years ago. It's the same bullshit, and then you're expecting things to change all of a sudden. You need to be the change you expect to see in your life. You need to look back and say, well, no wonder why my life is this way, because every day I get up at the same time, or at the same time I go to my job, I come back, I do this, I do that. So you gotta think to yourself, like, I go to work, come back, go to the gym, and then eat and sleep. On the weekend I sleep in, and then I go meet my friend and we do some bullshit. Listen, if that's what you do every week, you don't, like, why would your life change all of a sudden? You're doing the same thing over and over again. You really gotta step back and look and ask yourself, why do I feel stuck? Why do I feel like my life has no action? Why do I feel like I'm being held back? Why do I not feel fulfilled, content within myself, with my life? Yes, I want more money. Yeah, my career sucks. Yeah, I don't like the people I hang around with. Look, you are in control of your own life. You really have to think to yourself, what is it I'm doing that's stopping me from achieving or getting the position where I want to be? It truly starts with you. If you're really thinking to yourself, well, I can't wait for me to have an epiphany where something happened, all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, this is what I should have been doing all my life. Trust me, you're gonna be waiting a long time. You really have to take actions. It's all up to you. But even if you do pray, if you do meditate, if you take some time for yourself, none of that stuff will be like a life change like that, because your actions are still quite important. You have to let go of those habits, especially the one that holding you back. If your life right now feels like you're living on autopilot, then the chances are you are doing that. You may not recognize that, but that's why you gotta stop for a second and write it down. What do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do in the evening? And do it for Monday, then do it for the next day, the day after. Do it for a whole week and look at the pattern. Look at it. What is the difference here? You have to look Monday to Sunday, like what's happening there? Like, what are you doing? Then it may be that will help you then see, no wonder why my life hasn't changed. I do the same BS every bloody day. So you have to then take your time and think, okay, what is it I want to change? And the change that I always recommend people to do or to start with is to start with yourself, because there's no point trying to change the outside circumstances, especially the ones you cannot control. But if you start within yourself, if you start working yourself and adapting the habits you really want to adapt it, then you'll be surprised, like, why is your life changing? If you quit drinking too much alcohol, if you stop smoking too much weed, if you stop doing drugs, if you stop doing nonsense like this, then who knows? Your life may, things may be different. You may be able to even, visualize things a bit more clear. No wonder why everything's feel foggy. You're doing the same thing each and every day. Look, my advice is very simple. First of all, recognize what's happening. I'm talking to you, so you need to stop. If you can't pause the video and just think, what do you do Monday to Sunday? What is it? What's your life structure? The chances are you get up, work, gym, eat food, or even something similar to that. And then you get really analyze that. Is this what you do Monday to Friday? And then on weekend, what do you do? How do you spend your time? What kind of goals you're working towards? I know people say, oh, don't, like, we need goals, we need objective to work toward, otherwise we feel unfulfilled, otherwise we feel like our life has no meaning. Our life has lots of meaning. There's so much to see, there's a lot to do, and I know you want to help your friends, your family. I know you want to help yourself to be in a much better position that you are currently. But you gotta understand, we have to make those changes. We have to understand, recognize that, I'm not doing much about it. There's no point you coming here just complain and complain how you're not happy about life, how your work sucks, how your girlfriend sucks, how your boyfriend sucks, how the life and your family, how everything sucks. There's no point you complaining about all this if you ain't gonna do nothing about it. It's a waste of time. You're just gonna be yapping around, telling people how miserable you are, and then what? There's no point. If you want to internalize that, talk to yourself, speak to yourself, drop down everything that comes to your head, and then start making changes that you really want to make. It's no point you complaining. There isn't. Like, you're feeling stuck right now. You're feeling uncertain because you're doing the same thing. You're not making a change. Your habits are the same freaking habits. You're not changing. Like, what had changed in your life the last 6 to 12 months? What kind of habits, new or old, have you gotten rid or adapted to? Like, what have you done? Chances are you've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, but for some reason you're expecting a different result. That's what we call sanity. You're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's not how life works, unfortunately. You really have to think to yourself, what can I do next? How can I change the way my circumstances are? Okay, I'm not happy with my job. What can I do? Well, I need to get into this industry, maybe learn the new skills, put some time on the weekend or during the week, then start working towards that goal. If you're feeling unfulfilled, there's most chances are you're just doing the same fucking thing, and then you'll be complaining that nothing is happening. My life is boring. Like, you're not doing nothing. You gotta change, adapt, create new habits, try new things. Yeah, you can still travel, but then again, you still have to make the change you really need within yourselves. I really hope what I'm talking about here is bringing some clarity to you. I really do hope that's, making you think a little bit. My advice is very simple. Internalize things, take things down, write it down, look at your life Monday to Friday. What do you do? Look at your life in the weekends. What do you do? And then look as a whole in the month. What is that you do during the month? And then really ask yourself, what's missing here? Why am I not fulfilled? What is this? And then once you're doing that, keep on praying. But remember, prayer will help you for sure. But you still need to act upon the things that God put in front of you. If you see an opportunity in front of you and you're like, I'm not really sure, and then you let that go, you have to act on things, guys. But anyways, I'll leave you to it. Just have a good think about this all, and trust me, there's no point you complaining. It's good if you talk to your friends and whine about it, but then again, you still have to do something about that, because people just complain, and no action from their part. Ain't gonna happen. And a lot of those things, it's all psychology, really, to be fair. It's just all in your head. You gotta change your mindset, mate. Alright? Anyways, I'll catch you in the next video. You guys take care. Bye. Ciao. Bye.